The Independent Electoral Commission says it's done all it can to secure its nearly 5,000 stations in KwaZulu-Natal for this weekend's voter registration drive. Now, this comes as the province battles political killings and high crime. 5.3 million voters are already registered, with only 19% of them being between the ages of 18 and 29. Newzroom Afrika's Karinda Jagmohan reports.
KwaZulu-Natal has become synonymous with political violence during the election season. Now voting stations are categorized as high, medium or low risk for such disorder.
Luckily, going into the registration weekend, we do not have any voting stations that have been categorized as high profile, which is quite common going into the registration weekend. But we do expect that the situation might change going into elections, because there is a tendency for people who have got grievances around service delivery to want to use elections to voice out their grievances. And I do expect that at some point, as we get closer to the elections, we may have situations where we may need to intervene with the security establishment to make sure that we have stability and an environment that is conducive for us to deliver a decent election in the province.
The province has also undergone multiple redemarcation of ward boundaries, where voting districts have now changed.
We were targeting the 774 VTs, and we managed to get 34,100 people who needed to re-register because their address has changed. But over and above those, we were also able to register new voters. We had an incident there, for example, where our staff was attacked in Ilovu, and 2 of our voter management devices were stolen. But through working with the SAPS, before the end of the day, they had recovered those gadgets and they had reprimanded the culprits.
Crime remains a major concern for the Commission's over 14,000 staff members.
Working with the SAPS, whilst they may not deploy, they may not have static deployments as such in voting stations like they do in elections. They do patrol around our voting stations so that they are within easy reach of our staff should there be a need for them to get the service of the SAPS. So we are quite cautious of that. We have people that we call area managers who manage a cluster of voting stations, who are our eyes and the ears on the ground, because our staff will be sitting inside voting stations, whereas an area manager patrols their voting stations throughout the day, looking out for any possible incidents that may negatively impact our processes in voting stations.
Meanwhile, the IEC is expecting to register more youth this weekend at tertiary institutions, amid some voter apathy by disgruntled citizens.
South Africans really value their democracy. They take it very seriously and they do participate in elections. What we see is people that are disgruntled with their own political parties. And it is up to them then to make a decision. Elections in South Africa don't have a threshold. Whether 3 or 3,000 or 3 million people vote, there will be a result and there will be a government based on those people. But because we do care about the legitimacy of the government that gets elected, we do encourage people to go out and vote. We are hopeful that we are doing enough with all the partners in the civil society sector that we work with to encourage voters to still go out, whether they are disgruntled or not, because we want them to believe that their vote still counts. That one vote can make a difference.
For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Karinda Jagmohan in Durban.